Hello and welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be walking you through some common and tricky communicable diseases exam questions. Please remember that doing exam questions is the most important step of your revision. This video is part of our homework club, which is free weekly guided science revision where you learn what to revise, when to revise and how to revise every week. It's completely free and for all of you that struggle to revise, want to boost your grades or both, click the link in our bio now to sign up. Okay, now let's tackle these questions. Okay, so the way this is going to work is that I'll leave up the question for a few seconds so that you can have a go at completing it yourself, but if you'd like me to explain it and walk through it with you, then just keep on watching. So this is the first question, and this is a tricky question because many students made a silly error, which we'll discuss at the end. So the question says, malaria is a disease transmitted by mosquitoes. The graph shows information about the number of deaths from malaria. So this is the graph, and the question says that we need to calculate the decrease in the number of deaths between 2000 and 2015. So I really like to highlight key information in questions so I don't make silly mistakes. So the key information here is 2000 and 2015. So next we need to look at our graph, and before we do anything, we need to know what each little square is worth. My favourite method for doing this is choosing one interval, so for example 300 to 400. 400 minus 300 is 100. And let's count the squares in this interval. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 squares. So you've got 100 divided into 10 squares. So we know that each of these little squares must be worth 10. Okay, now we've done that, we can continue with the question. So we need to go to 2000 first. So in 2000, this is where the data point is. So remember, each little square is 10. So 810, 20, 30 and 40. So you've got 840 here. And now we need to work out what it was in 2015. So we go down and use a ruler for this and go across. And we can count again. So 410, 420, 430 and 440. So the final sum is going to be 840 minus 440. And this gives us 400. But we're not done yet, because if we look closely at the graph, it tells us that this is the number of deaths from malaria in thousands. Okay, so it's not 400, it's 400,000. Okay, so many students made this mistake in their exam, so please do make sure that when you have a question that you're reading through all the information that you're given. So the next question we're going to tackle together is this one. The question is, scientists are developing a vaccine against malaria. Suggest how a vaccine against malaria could reduce the spread of the disease. So this is a very common question because it's essentially asking you how vaccines reduce the spread of disease. However, many students got this question wrong. This is a 2-mark question and it's a very common question, so it'll be very helpful to you if you just know the answer. So in your exam, you could just write it down from memory. We'd really recommend that you make flashcards from exam questions in order to memorise them. And if you are a Silver Homework Club member, then you can get access to pre-made Quizlet flashcards made from exam questions. You can find more information about this in the description. Okay, so let's continue. The first marking point is that vaccines make people immune. I would really recommend that you write in bullet points when you're doing your answers. It will make it much clearer for the examiner to figure out where your marking points are. The second marking point is, so fewer people to pass a pathogen on to mosquitoes. So you don't actually have to say onto mosquitoes, but I mention that because students commonly went wrong by misunderstanding malaria. So this isn't spread between people, it's spread via vector. And the vector that carries malaria are mosquitoes, okay? So if you had written that there are fewer people to pass on the pathogen to one another, you would not have gotten the mark. And that's why the second marking point for this question was rarely seen. So please make sure that you memorize the answer to this question, and you can find the mark scheme if you are a Homework Club member. It will be in the members booklet for week 9. This is the third and final question that we're going to be going through today. If you'd like to see the rest of the questions, because this is from a booklet, then again, sign up for Homework Club and you'll get access to everything that you need to boost your revision and to boost your grades. The question is, gonorrhea is a disease caused by a bacterium. Gonorrhea can be treated with antibiotics. Give one other way to control the spread of gonorrhea. This is a 1-mark question. And students went wrong in several ways. Some mentioned antibiotics, which was already included in the question, and some didn't realise that gonorrhea is actually sexually transmitted, and therefore washing your hands or covering your mouth when coughing weren't acceptable answers. So again, make sure that you go back to the basics. There are some key facts that you have to know for your exam, and this is one of them. And also make sure that you're reading the question properly so you don't repeat what was already said and don't lose out on key marks. So there are several marking points for this question, and the one I'm going to go for is using a barrier method of contraception. The mark scheme for this question has several marking points which are not allowed. So again, if you want to see the mark scheme and learn from it, then please do become a member of Homework Club. And that's a wrap for Homework Club week 9. Remember to become an official Homework Club member. It's completely free. You get a weekly exam question walkthrough, you get access to the best YouTube playlists available for your revision, a weekly exam question booklet, a daily revision schedule, and so much more. I look forward to seeing you all next week, and have the best week possible.